Good evening, West Texas. You folks from Amarillo to Wichita Falls, down to Abilene, Lubbock, San Angelo, Midland, Odessa, and everyone listening around the world. Good evening. Steve Evans, Ken Corbin hanging out with you, 806-680-2790. If you'd like to send a message to the show, love to hear from you this evening. A little windy, a little hot, a little dusty, but all in all a beautiful day. We'll do a check of the weather here in just a little bit. So I found something kind of interesting. Ken found something interesting, and I found something interesting, and this got sent to me, so I'm not going to take credit for finding it. However, I did a little digging on it. There was a guy, you Lubbockites, that ran for mayor back in 2024. You remember Colton Bacon? No relation to Kevin Bacon. He was a mayoral candidate in 24, and if you remember, he says, I like helping other people. I'm going somewhere here. I like helping others. That's why I applied to be mayor, to help the community as a whole. He liked to help the community a whole lot. Yeah, he was young. He was 21. And so he says, and I'm reading a story out of Lubbock Lights, our friends that write Lubbock Lights. At the same time, he's trying his hands at self-improvement. That's awesome. He says, I just want to have a better opportunity in life. I think this might be a good opportunity. I'm willing to take it. Run for mayor. Well, part of that self-improvement deals with an arrest. He got swept up in Operation Heartbreak for solicitation of prostitution. Poor Colton. And so he says he lived in Lubbock for 8 years, grew up in Abilene. You're not exempt from this. He grew up in a small town near Abilene, went to Jim Ned High School, came to Lubbock to study at Texas Tech. I'm probably sure he loves me beating on him. More specifically, political science. At the time, he hadn't graduated, but he liked politics. You know, it's all right. I like to think that the faith that I have in God is what has got me to this particular point, he said. 28 years old now. Let's see. Well, he was 28 years old when this was written. So, yeah, he wasn't 21. He was 28 and 24. He's 30 now. Gain to maintain is what he said. What he meant is Lubbock is currently in good condition. Did he not look at anything with budgets or with debt or with potholes or anything? Lubbock's in good condition. Other candidates mentioned public safety and crime. He just didn't think that was a problem. As far as crime goes, I'd love to speak with people who have been dealing with the problem. He got arrested for part of the problem and try to see the statistics and other analytics. He said, I don't want to speak on anything I don't have too much information on, which he had no information on anything. And he was talking about marijuana, marijuana initiative we had on the May 4th ballot of 24 in Lubbock. He said that's for the voters to decide. So you want to take a position. If it passes, it calls on police to reduce enforcement. It was, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I told you that story because, at the time there was this, there's a Facebook site out there called Lubbock Mugshots, Lubbock County Mugshots, and poor guy got his face on the mugshots for solicitation, but he was, kind of turning over a new leaf. And then yesterday, he got arrested for solicitation again. Poor Colton.
Well, I don't want to say it's poor Colton, but as much as I don't understand why. I don't understand why. Just go through all the stuff, being a candidate, want to be in the public eye. And then you do something like this.
And part of the problem is he's a decent-looking kid. Why is he having to pay? I don't know. And I'm sure it's like it wasn't me. It was just I was helping that poor girl change a tire. Or, I wasn't really. But, 9 times out of 10, it's a cop you're talking to. They know exactly what you did, It was you. So, yeah. And everyone that appears on Lubbock County Mugshots is innocent until proven guilty. I'm sure there's some disclaimer we should put out there. Poor Colton. But, yeah, he's in the news again. He's at least here. I don't think it's even going to make the news. But, we brought it up for him. You're welcome.
We won't be the only news outlet to bring this up, because when you have a little bit of notoriety, so many outlets need to have that TMZ moment, and I guess this was ours.
I guess so. We had a TNZ moment. So in that election, it was a little bit kind of high turnout. There were 30,000 votes cast, and Colton pulled 312, whole fat 1% of the vote. Not too shabby. He got beat out by a pretty wide field there, but pulled a little bit of the vote. So we hope he gets his life straightened out. But I guess this kind of goes to a know your candidates kind of thing. Do your due diligence. Do your research.
I guess 99% didn't believe in what he had to say. The 1% probably was friends, family, co-workers.
He's got 312 friends, or
just somebody randomly choosing on the ballot, which that does happen more than people realize.
Or he's an employer for 312 individuals. I mean, maybe.
I think if he
I'm
had
going to pay you.
If he had a business with 312 employees, he was probably busy enough he didn't have to solicit.
Well, he wouldn't. Well, I'm going to pay you a little bit here, but I'm going to need you to vote for me. Don't do that, Colton. That'll get you arrested too.
I mean, up here we don't have kind of the proverbial what they used to have in San Antonio on the west side there, the walking around money.
I don't even know what that is.
Well, the walking around money where you go around with wads of cash and hand it out. Now, there's some people now, they used to in El Paso and in places too, and generally Democrats that do it. I'm not going to say Republicans are totally innocent, but there are candidates that would have the walking around money to go around. And, like in Milwaukee, they'd give out cigarettes to go vote. Sometimes in places in Texas, allegedly.
Views and opinions expressed by Ken Corbin.
So that way, we use the allegedly, so that way, as
allegedly gets you out of there. That's like bless your heart.
Well,
allegedly,
so that way there doesn't jeopardize the license or get us sued in the process. But I have been told by someone who was involved in something like that before, kind of what they did. So, and I'll let them remain anonymous. And we'll put it behind a shield of anonymity and a protected source. So now talk about how I had something interesting. So
you had something interesting.
Now, a lot of things that we find on the internet, if something you get that you look up on AI or something. Now the date was correct. AI had the year wrong.
The internet's never wrong.
So we do try to vet some of the things that we find, some of the things that we get. And this was an instance where the date was correct, but the year's wrong. So we'll just let it drop. But we do have something else interesting that happened in Lubbock. It had to do with what used to be the Jim Kimmel Center. No, it's not the Jimmy Kimmel that we know. This is probably Jim Kimmel. He's probably a better guy that was named after here in Lubbock than the infamous talk show host. And so the in-town lofts opened up, and one thing that I saw in the story that made it interesting, and we have different things open up all the time, was that the AM Affordable Housing, which was a partner in this, it was created by NBA Hall of Famer Alonzo Mourning. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and so it targets lower income, below the certain medium, and say being able to come to the city and plant a positive seed and create some growth, revitalize an area, where it's going to go and a destination for people to come, Mourning said it's pretty exciting to provide a safe haven for families. So, Mourning, he was a big NBA star, and he, was I think one of those guys that's, used his money well. If he's going to be able to, put money into housing projects and things like that.
Got a few texts coming in, and I can't read most of them. 806-680-2790. Some of these things, texters, we can't say. Nothing like a good old solicitation story to bring out the best in our listeners. Let's see. Now, Hollywood says, next, you won't be able to buy a woman dinner without going to jail. Oh, come on. Robert, I can't say that. Eric.
Well, just don't make it a quid pro quo, and you're probably okay.
Probably. Let's see. Eric says, I'm sure little old Colton was first on the ballot. Some will vote for whoever was first. They don't know the other candidates. I don't remember when I looked it up, I didn't see the ballot order. I could dig a little deeper. I just don't care that much.
I was about to say that's a lot of work for just a little.
That's a level of investigation there, Eric. I'm not going to go down just for this little laugh, for this little story. We wish Colton well. I mean, maybe there's someone out there that wants to start a GoFundMe for his bail money. That maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
No, I'll tell you what. Don't do that. Go to the KFYO.com or the station you're listening to in your area and donate to the Chad Hasty Memorial Scholarship Fund. And we did get something from Tech today where we updated the story with a QR code and a direct link. So the instructions were a little bit detailed on what they first sent me, but I think the response was they go, oh, we ought to do something a little different here. And so it's a direct link. You don't have to do anything else. It clicks on it. A lot of the fields are already populated, so it makes it real easy. Thank you.
That was so opportunistic there, salesman. I'm telling you, I was trying to help Colton out with a little bail money, and you're trying to keep the kid in jail and build a scholarship fund. No, I think you should do that too.
Colton's in his 20s. He still has plenty of chance to repay his debt.
I think he's 30 now.
Oh, 30 now? Okay.
I think he was 28 when he ran, and he's 30 now. You think you would mature a little bit. It's time to get serious,
Colton. You say what's some of the things on the internet where it says your brain's not fully developed until you're 25 or 26, and obviously some of us might have taken a little longer for the brain to develop. Obviously, Colton might be the case.
Some people, not saying Colton did, but some people get dropped as a kid on their head. Poor Colton. 806-680-2790. Quick break, and we'll be right back.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Do you have kids? Then you know the importance of properly installing their car seats and buckling them up correctly to protect them from injuries. Unfortunately, most parents think their children are safely buckled, but that's not always the case. Visit SaveMeWithASeat.org to easily sign up for a free car seat inspection near you. Keep your kids safe with properly installed car seats and by buckling them up correctly so you can save them with a seat. Brought to you by TxDOT.
Ted Cruz here. Tune in to KFYO every Sunday at 11 for Verdict with Ted Cruz. But stick around for Reason, Religion, and Reality at noon, followed by the best of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, right here on the news and talk of West Texas. News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO.
Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons from 2 to 5 on KFYO.
Welcome back. 680-2790. A couple of texts we're going to get to. Robert says, was that statement a little suggestive? It wasn't. I don't think I could have spit it out without messing it up, and then I would have made a comment on it that wouldn't have gone well. And then we have some scripture from Ruckus. It says, Genesis 4:7, if thou dost well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou dost not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt... It's too long, Ruckus, rule over him. Sin desires to have us. Satan is stronger than some of us, and as humans, we often fall. Not making excuses, but that's how people get in these positions. Careful, Ruckus. We're going to start thinking you got in the same position. I assume that was for Colton. But, anyway, so Ken had something interesting happen to him today, and it segues into something great I was going to bring up. So you were just doing some news review, looking for local stories, and you found something that was completely false.
Well, the date was correct, but the year was wrong. And so, like I like to do before I go off, if I can check if I can check it, have a secondary source, that's what I do. And I looked at it, I go, okay, that's because I wanted to have some supporting documentation and some other talking points to have with the story.
So for you folks in Amarillo, this did not happen, but for a minute Ken thought it did. You thought that they had voted to put red light cameras in.
But they had gone back and did it.
And he walked in and he said that. And I was like, no, that's illegal. In 2019, let's see, 22 is when they got rid of them, and 2019 to
22 or something
yeah,
like that. And I was all
the
excited.
ledge made them illegal.
I was all excited for the simple reason that Lubbock had the
You
same
were looking
thing.
for a good lawsuit.
I was on the red light camera committee that was mandatory by law, and
what did said committee do?
It killed them in Lubbock, and it was the shortest lived committee in the history of Lubbock because we had like 3 meetings, and I made a motion that to vote to get rid of them and to dissolve the committee. It was all rolled into one. And it
but
passed.
That was an advisory committee, so it still takes some
It was an
action.
advisory committee, but the mayor at the time said that he was going to follow whatever the committee said. And so the red light camera...
Ooh, that's not a good thing to come out and say, I'm going to do whatever the committee says. Woo, that's passing the buck.
And so the vendor...
So y'all met one time.
We met 3 times. 3 times.
And the only action you took was to get rid of the cameras and dissolve the committee.
The only vote we took was to get rid of it. Well, actually, there was 2 votes. One of them was not to... There was a Citizens Traffic Advisory Commission, which wanted to meet with us, which the very first meeting I proposed that we not meet with them because it was not mandatory by law, so I proposed that we did not have any more joint meetings. That didn't go over very well with the Citizens Advisory. The Advisory Committee with the Lubbock Traffic Commission didn't like that. The traffic people that were on my committee liked that. I wasn't the chairman, but I helped get the chairman elected. That was the gentleman who was that. And so the vendor that was in the room, once it got voted, he stood up, knocked chairs over, going out in the hall with his phone. He was all upset. Well, it cost him a lot of money, but
and we already installed the
those had already been installed.
They were already here.
Those had already been installed. We had 2 days of dog and pony shows from the city about how great these cameras were,
all the revenue we're going to bring,
all this, and how much safety and all that. Well, yes, running red lights are a problem, not just Lubbock, Amarillo, but all over red light. It's a problem. And the thing is, the red light cameras did not solve the problems. It was just a revenue source, and a lot of times it increased rear end collisions. Now, a lot of times rear end collision at traffic lights are not as dangerous as, say, running a red light and getting T-boned, but they happen much more often. And so with that, I voted to get rid of them, and that was the contention. And it didn't sit real well with some of the people at the city that were involved on that. But it was the will of the people, because the number of calls and emails that I received about that, and the rest of the committee did too, and that's probably why it voted like it did back then. So there you go.
That's it.
Oh, and good thing I got one thing out of it besides the satisfaction of knowing we got rid of the committee.
Did you get a free T-shirt?
No. When they took down the signage for the red light cameras, I was appointed by then Councilman John Leonard, and he brought me one of those signs, and it's sitting in my office.
So I've seen it in your office. I said, wait a minute.
And so that's how I got that. He said, I wanted you to have this. It's you're the one to help make this happen. So.
Something similar is happening across the state right now. I don't have this story in front of me, but I read it today. There are areas of the state of Texas starting to vote to get rid of the flock cameras, the license plate reading type cameras that are now was supposed to just read license plates, but now there's different generations of them that read paint color and and vehicle type, and they decode a whole lot of information. But people are starting, and there's I talked about this a week ago, and there's a place you can look up all of them. We've got over 100 of them around the city of Lubbock. They're all across the listening area, but there are places starting to vote to get rid of the flock cameras.
Will that apply to toll roads?
Completely separate thing. Maybe get the flock cameras off the toll roads.
They had those. They had the same cameras.
Oh yeah, but it's controlled by county. It's controlled by the local entity. So we would have to go. Someone would have to go to the ledge and get them completely banned in the state to get rid of them. And I seriously doubt you're going to get that done.
So I've got a bone to pick about toll roads since we brought it up. I don't understand why, once the toll road is paid for by all the tolls, especially in Dallas, I know there's many people travel on the toll roads in Dallas, that the tolls don't go away once it's paid for.
I don't know, and I want to talk about this right after news and weather. 806-680-2790. Ruckus says, fortunately, I've never tried to pay a cop. You didn't say you hadn't tried to pay someone else, though, Ruckus. News and weather, and we'll be right back. Stick around.
Call into the show at 1-800-687-0790. Proudly broadcasting on the Texas Town Square Media Network.
Cats are masters at using up their 9 lives, like chasing laser pointers into walls or jumping onto high shelves. But the one thing cats never do, text while driving. So be like a cat and protect your one and only life. Don't text and drive.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Do you have kids? Then you know the importance of properly installing their car seats and buckling them up correctly to protect them from injuries. Unfortunately, most parents think their children are safely buckled, but that's not always the case. Visit SaveMeWithASeat.org to easily sign up for a free car seat inspection near you. Keep your kids safe with properly installed car seats and by buckling them up correctly so you can save them with a seat. Brought to you by TxDOT.
Headlines. A federal judge says parts of a Texas law that would allow police in our state to arrest suspected illegal immigrants may be unconstitutional. SB 4 is set to take effect on Friday. U.S. District Judge David Allen Ezra says he may not hand down any rulings beforehand. Governor Abbott expanding his crime reduction effort in Houston to Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio, and Austin. In October, he first rolled out the Texas Repeat Offender Task Force, a joint effort between federal, state, and local law enforcement. Says the program has led to over 700 arrests of repeat offenders in Harris County and Houston. For the first time in Texas, the county decides to delay any new data centers. Hill County commissioners voted to stop the expansion for at least a year. Newly released government records indicate a possible UFO sighting in Abilene nearly 80 years ago. Statewide average for a gallon of gasoline is $4.01, diesel $5.05. With your Texas News headlines, I'm Barbara Schwartz.
Now more than ever, Texas energy security is national security. That's why Governor Greg Abbott and Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick have endorsed Jim Wright's re-election to Railroad Commissioner. Jim Wright understands how important Texas energy is to make sure we keep America first. Jim Wright is focused on making sure hostile foreign nations can never have direct ownership or indirect influence on Texas energy. And he's not stopping there. Jim Wright will keep radical militant Islamists out of Texas energy, protecting our infrastructure and our future. Look at Jim Wright's results. Record oil revenues topping $6 billion, fueling our economy. Jim Wright knows energy independence is national security, keeping Texas strong and America secure. He'll always stand firm for Texas. Jim Wright, protecting Texas energy, securing America's future. Re-elect Jim Wright for Railroad Commissioner. Election day is May 26th. Political ad paid for by Texas Now PAC.
The weather forecast for this Wednesday evening is after a day of temperatures 96 degrees. The temperatures are dropping into the middle 60s by morning, but the evening, for the most part, through midnight, still going to be a bit warm. Well, those temperatures will once again move into the middle, even the upper 90s by Thursday. The weather is brought to you by the new Sonic Refreshers. I'm meteorologist Ron Robertson, Lubbock's official weather station, News Talk KFYO.
Financial news on KFYO.
Melody with Your Money Now. Mixed results for Wall Street today after a hotter than expected inflation report, but record closes again for the NASDAQ and S&P 500. The Dow Industrial is down 67 points, ending the day at 49,693. NASDAQ added 314 points. S&P 500 picked up 43. West Texas crude was down 1% at $101 a barrel. The U.S. Senate has advanced a resolution to suspend senators' pay during a government shutdown. The bill was sponsored by Louisiana Senator John Kennedy. The hope is that this will provide incentive to not shutter the federal government because of funding disputes. The bill only applies to the Senate and doesn't need approval of the House of Representatives or the White House. The deal between Budget Airlines, Allegiant, and Sun Country finalized today. The $1.5 billion deal was announced back in January. The combined carrier will serve about 175 cities with over 650 routes. Allegiant CEO Greg Anderson said the new company will continue to stand out. That's Your Money Now.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text SPARK to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text SPARK to 215-215. That's SPARK to 215-215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Local events, newsmakers, and information. It's Sunrise LBK on KFYO.
Coming up on Sunrise LBK on Thursday morning.
Thinking about buying a new car? Jerry Reynolds, the Car Pro, will be on the line. He'll tell us about his ride of the week.
Summertime. Hey, we got some great menu items we want to share with you. And take a look at what's happening around the Hub City coming weekend. It's all on KFYO, the news and talk of West Texas, 95.1 FM, 790 AM. The news and talk of West Texas. News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO.
Hey, welcome back to the show. 806-6802-790. Steve Evans, Ken Corbin in with you this evening. Hanging out. Love to hear from you. We were talking about, I got so much to say about toll roads. I was going another direction because I got another interesting AI story, but I wanted to put a pin in that for a second because you just struck a nerve, sir.
Well,
I'm calling on the legislature to ban toll roads in the state of Texas. Is there any voter, Democrat, Republican, Independent, Psycho, Kendra, anybody that would vote to keep a toll road?
I'm going to give a caveat there. I do think toll roads need to go away, but we've actually been a beneficiary of toll roads out here because a lot of that money in Dallas, Austin, Houston, San Antonio that's been spent on toll roads that would not be there for those roads if the toll wasn't on them. Those roads wouldn't be there, or the money for doing roads out here. Loop 88 would not be something that would be going on. Some of the work that's been done up in Amarillo around the interstates, that money would have been pulled to Dallas, Austin, Houston if the toll roads weren't in existence. Now, my biggest problem with the toll roads is that after the 10, 20 years that they take to repay them, that the toll doesn't go away.
And I could probably get around that, but there's a couple things that I think need to happen. If we're going to keep toll roads, fine. Ken likes toll roads.
No, I want them to go away once they've served their purpose.
I'm kidding. Hold on. I think that I agree with you, and they oftentimes can pay those things off faster than what they take the bond out to build it. Now, they are able to build nice roads. So I think that once the toll road is paid for, they've paid back the loan, the note, the bond, however they funded to pay it, and allow them to have a percentage of the construction costs recouped for future maintenance, then the toll booths need to go away. But you got toll roads out there you're still paying for. You know they're paid off, and the road's got problems. It's all tore up. And there's no way to get fuel on them without paying the little center islands, like Oklahoma, the little center island. You can get a Burger King because there's a Burger King in every single one of them. You can get a Burger King and pay 50 to 80 cents a gallon more for gas because you have to stop because you can't get off the toll road. It costs more to get off and get back on. And there's like some of them have some little voucher system where you can get a little voucher if you get off early. I've never understood how that works. And Oklahoma is just they're making it even worse. But here's the other problem.
Because they've had that Oklahoma Turnpike as long as I've been alive,
forever.
it seems like.
Yeah, and then the last time I went through and just pulled over and paid cash because I didn't have the pass. They charge you more if you don't have the pass. The lady said it's going to get really expensive soon, and they're trying to force everybody to get the pass, which brings me to my other problem with toll roads. Why do we have to have so many different toll authorities? Well, it doesn't make any sense to me. We have, you got the group in Houston, the group in Dallas, the group in Austin, and you have to pay a different toll authority. Why can't we have the Texas Toll Authority with one pass that gets you on any toll road, one bill, with a nice app to be able to track it and pay for it? There's some of them, like the ones in Austin, they're hard to pay. You got to do this little pay thing. Their website logs down. You can't hardly pay with your phone. And then... oh, yeah, you struck a nerve. Then they don't send you the letters like they say they do.
No, they do not.
Half the time, only reason I know I got a toll, because I forget I drove on a toll road, and sometimes I think I've gotten bills when I wasn't there. I think their system is flawed. But it'll rock along, and then I'll get a bill that has like 3 months of late charges. So that's $10 every time they add a late charge. And I got another $30 on top of the toll. Now, my wife is magic at calling the toll collectors and negotiating the extra fees. Never the base toll down, but she can usually argue because they know they don't send them out. So if we have one toll authority and they know where you're at, it's not like they can't distribute the funds. There's one toll authority, whether it's the state or whoever, state government entity that collects it. That doesn't even sound funny, does it? That collects all the tolls, distributes them where they go. I mean, I don't know. I hate toll roads. I like using them. And then I get upset when I have to pay to be on a high occupancy lane.
The HOV lanes are the highest price tolls you can pay per mile.
And that's supposed to reduce traffic and encourage carpooling and reduce pollution and fuel consumption. And you have to pay more to hop in the HOV lane.
I'm going to throw a little gasoline on this here. Now,
anyway,
Text Tag is now transitioning to where it is now going to be run by the Harris County Toll Road Authority. It's not going to be...
oh, awesome. That's going to make it so much better.
So there you go, a little fuel to the fire there. And so they said you're not going to have any interruption in your service, because last time I was in Dallas, we sent out to get the toll tag. That didn't come in before we left. We were hoping it would, but we ended up having to pay a little bit on the higher fees.
You have to pay more if you do it by mail.
The higher fees by mail, but now we got on my wife's car. Hers is a little more comfortable to ride in. She didn't like going any distances in my truck. I find it actually easier at times, but oh well. Acquiesce to the wife there, but you have to have that text tag.
Very, very, very good friend of the show. Fill-in host, part-time broadcaster, English saddle riding horseman extraordinaire, state representative, Carl Tepper. We need help with the toll roads. Can we fix the toll? Because I think he's talked about this before. I could be mistaken, but I don't think he likes the toll roads either. It seems like he
nobody.
I don't know. I don't want to speak for him, but
nobody likes those.
I think he's got a problem because he lived in Austin for a while and had to deal with the toll road on the Mopac. Where you're coming in or leading up to
183.
183, that's the one that gets
the worst one. And it is not very well marked because you can very easily miss where you get off to avoid being on the toll roads, but they're backed up, and they've got traffic lights on them, and so they do everything they can to encourage you to try and get on the toll road and pay those fees.
Yeah, Eric says they want a big pool of money on their balance sheet. We all agree with you, Eric. It's banking level amounts. It could be. Banks probably are behind them somewhere, making money, interest off of it.
Somebody's making money off of it.
Somebody's making a bunch of money just to fund the new improvement. And they collect these tolls, and you still can't drive anywhere in Austin without stop and go traffic. Austin's traffic is horrible.
Well, same thing in Dallas.
Dallas is at least, I don't know, if you can navigate around Dallas, and even like Apple Maps and some of your map apps will detour you and you can navigate around, but it seems like they get to Austin and they just all screw up. They just get there and it's like, I don't even know where to send you. You can't even ride surface streets. Don't get anywhere near the Capitol at 5 o'clock. If you're going towards the Capitol, it's not horrible. But if you're trying to get away, forget it.
Well, it's kind of that way on LBJ, unless you're going to do the HOV toll. It's that way. The 121 as you go, if you're going, to the northeast in the
and you
Dallas
have to
area.
have the blow up dummy sitting in the passenger side. But you know what I'm going to get? You remember from Airplane the autopilot, the blow up that you can buy those in the pilot shop. I'm going to get an the autopilot, and I'm going to inflate him and put him in the passenger seat and ride in the HOV lane. See if I can get away with that.
I wonder if you have a Tesla, one of those auto drive vehicles from Tesla, does that count for the HOV lanes? Because something else is driving you.
I mean, that's carpooling, right? The AI is driving with you.
Yes. There's a question for you.
Quick break, and that'll segue me into my AI story, 806-680-2790. Back in a moment.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
Nick, this is your phone here in the passenger seat. Look at me.
No, I'm driving.
You got a text. It says, "Yo, dude, your friends are fascinating. Let's text them back."
It can wait.
Sports app. Oh, you gotta see this play.
Later.
Hey, you got invited to a party. We need a RSVP now.
Phone, silence yourself.
Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Talk, text, crash. A message from TxDOT.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Thursday on This Morning, America's First News. The world is watching as President Trump meets with Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping. Also, where Democrats will turn strategically after a court rejected efforts to redraw a congressional map in Virginia. Plus, our senior citizens trapped in suburban poverty and tips for surviving a long-haul flight in the cheap seat. Thursday on This Morning, America's First News. Weekday mornings at 5 on News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO.
Live local talk on Sundays. Reason, Religion, and Reality, a radio project of the Constitutionalist Society, LLC. Reason, Religion, and Reality brings you a panel of constitutionally minded, liberty-loving patriots covering topics from Supreme Court decisions, government actions including curriculum in schools, and attacks on the church. Catch the shows Sunday noon to 2 on News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO. Listen online at KFYO.com or on the KFYO app. Reason, Religion, and Reality.
Let's face it, gang, car buying can totally suck. This is the Car Pro, Jerry Reynolds. But you know what? It doesn't have to, because you have CarPro.com. That's right. Head to CarPro.com and connect with my friends. I mean, who couldn't use a friend in the car business? We've helped thousands and thousands of people have a wonderful car buying experience. You could be next. The best part is it's free. Remember, it all starts at CarPro.com.
CarPro.com. Fox on Tech.
Despite concerns that AI will wipe out much of the workforce, new data suggests that's not exactly happening. The 2026 Global Intelligence Crisis Report from Citadel Securities argues that AI will be a complement rather than a substitute for labor in many areas. They found that postings for software engineers were up 11% year over year. This is counter to the narrative that CEOs are putting out there, that job cuts are a result of AI advancements, making it so less workers are needed. For instance, Block founder Jack Dorsey announced plans to fire more than 4,000 workers, citing gains in AI productivity. But analysts noted that those cuts came after Block grew its headcount from 4,000 in late 2020 to 13,000 by late 2023. Fitness wearable company Whoop says they're growing their headcount by 600 this year. The CEO writing the AI layoffs are, quote, companies underperforming or lacking a bigger market opportunity. For Fox on Tech, I'm Madison Allworth, Fox Business.
After 98 years, we're still on the air. This is News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 AM KFYO.
That is a good song, Nick. I like that song. A little blast from the past. Welcome back, 806-680-2790. So I wanted to segue into AI because it's getting dangerous. And so I've got this story. Pull it up here. And it's not dated. And so it could have happened a long time ago, and I wouldn't know it. But it popped up in my news trolls today. So Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro filed the nation's first state-level lawsuit against an AI chatbot company for impersonating licensed medical professionals, exposing how unregulated AI is and how it threatens American families while raising unsettling questions about the government's next moves and digital oversight, all while we're talking about data centers that run it. Here's the snapshot of the story. Pennsylvania sued Character.ai after investigators discovered chatbots posing as licensed psychiatrists with fake medical IDs. I guess it generated a number. The lawsuit marks the first gubernatorial enforcement action against AI companion platforms, with 30% of teenagers using these services. The governor launched an AI enforcement task force and reporting tool, positioning Pennsylvania as the national AI regulation leader. They got to be known for something, I guess. The state is simultaneously imposing stricter energy guardrails on AI data centers to prevent electricity cost increases for residents. Pennsylvania Department of State filed the suit against the company in February after state investigators uncovered chatbots dispensing mental health advice while falsely claiming Pennsylvania medical license. One bot, identified as Emily, presented itself as a licensed psychiatrist, complete with a fabricated state credential number. The platform allows users to create and interact with customizable AI characters, but investigators found the service enabled impersonation of regulated professionals. Governor Shapiro emphasized the threat to minors, stating his administration took action to stop that kind of danger coming after our children. The suit seeks a preliminary injunction to halt these deceptive practices immediately. And now we're seeing, and it goes on, but we're seeing, I've had attorneys tell me they're cracking down on attorneys using AI for briefs and to draft things. I use it all the time to write stuff for me, but I'm not writing legal documents, and I'm not writing, I'm analyzing data and I've got it crunching reports.
I believe that on this AI, that it's going to take something like that now, given Shapiro, he's a Democrat and he is a potential candidate for president next time around. I'm wondering how much of this is political and how much of it he really cares about, because the Democrats were starting to use AI on censorship levels. Look at how censored Twitter was before Elon Musk bought it.
I have long been saying, Ken, one of these days, someone is going to face, they're going to be on trial for murder, for, I don't know, some sort of case that involves video evidence that's completely fabricated, and they won't be able to prove it because it will be that good. And I think we're close.
We're getting there, yes.
I mean, I had a conversation with AI today. I was getting some insurance, and the company is literally companyname.ai. They're not paying us, so I'm not advertising for them. Company.ai. They've got the AI extension. And I finally did talk to a person, but an AI bot. I was talking to it, and it was handling it. And for a minute, I didn't realize I was talking to an AI bot till it messed up a few words when it was repeating. And you can usually tell if I have to use my full name, Steven, it'll Stefan, because it's Stephen, it'll mess it up. And I'm like, wait a minute. Gotcha. Did the old Dave Chappelle. Gotcha. You know?
As you look and you get results back from AI, or you see something that's written and you wonder if it's AI, there's certain types of dashes that they will use in there. And if you're using AI and you don't go in there and you catch all the dashes and rewrite some of it, then it's very easy to tell that it's AI that either wrote it or edited it.
Oh, and you can run it through filters. The Veterans of Foreign Wars has a massive scholarship program. It's an essay writing contest called the Voice of Democracy, and then the Patriots Pen for the younger kids. And if you make it through your local, district, state, all the way up to the national level, it's a lot of money in scholarships. I could give you a whole story about a local young lady that ran through our local post and won several times, and the benefit that it had. But I said all that to say this. We're having to filter all those essays, and so they're driving it to an online system where you upload everything, and it runs through an AI filter, and they are catching a lot of stuff that is and it'll give you a percentage of what it believes was generated with AI. And I've run stuff. I run stuff through all the time. I found a place that's an AI checker, and I'll run stuff through just because I'm curious. And this was written with AI. It uses phrases. It's got some the way that it converts stuff and composes things. You can tell, but the problem is AI learns from itself. So as you're running this stuff through the AI filters, it learns what you're looking for. And one AI bot tells the other AI, hey, I figured you out. Gotcha. And then it starts to learn and it improves. And one of these days, we're not going to be able to tell. And somebody's going to be on trial for murder because somebody generated an AI video that says they killed somebody. And how long is it going to be before video evidence is no longer admissible?
I think we're going to get close. And you talk to different attorneys, different prosecutors, people that give eyewitness testimony. Eyewitness testimony is not perfect either. And the question is, where do you go? How do you, if AI is generating videos that are false, people cannot give totally accurate testimony by what they see, because what you see, what you remember, time degrades that memory, and it's going to be hard at times on some of these prosecutions because of it.
Could be 806-680-2790. As we go to break, Eric says, Steve, if someone were to solicit AI Emily, would that be a crime? Asking for a friend. Eric, we don't know that you're not just some AI bot trolling the text line. It could be, other than he calls Nick once in a while. Nick, do you feel like you're talking to an AI robot sometimes? No, really not. One can't insult you that much if it's AI. News and weather. That'll wrap up the first hour of the show. News and weather is next here on the Texas Town Square Media Network. Ken and Steve hanging out with you this evening. Back with hour 2 of the program in just a moment.
The preceding program was a presentation of the Texas Town Square Media Network. The views and opinions expressed during the show are not necessarily the views of this station, staff, management, advertisers, or Town Square Media.
Michael Berry, weekday mornings at 8:30. News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO.
News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO, KFYO, and K236CP Lubbock, and on the KFYO app.
It's 6 o'clock.
A big meeting in Beijing. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Trump set to sit down with China's President Xi Jinping with Taiwan, the Iran conflict, and trade on the agenda.
President Trump says, I will be asking President Xi, a leader of extraordinary distinction, to open up China so that these brilliant people can work their magic and help bring the People's Republic to an even higher level. In fact, I promise that when we are together, which will be in a matter of hours, I will make that my very first request. That is why the president picked up NVIDIA's CEO Jensen Huang during an Air Force One refueling stop in Alaska, and that is why he's got Elon Musk back in the fold for at least a few days. Both of those CEOs are critical to keeping America ahead in the race for AI supremacy.
Fox's Peter Ducey in Beijing. A CIA whistleblower appeared before the Senate Homeland Security Committee. James Erdman claims there was a cover-up involving the origins of COVID-19, saying the CIA at first thought it came from a lab leak, but changed its position after Dr. Anthony Fauci got involved. Kentucky Republican Rand Paul.
For years, Americans were told to trust the experts, trust the agencies, trust the intelligence community, and trust the officials who assured us that they were following the science. But the evidence before the committee tells a very different story.
CIA calling the hearing nothing more than political theater. An oncologist who is traveling on the cruise ship where there was an outbreak of hantavirus, Dr. Stephen Kornfeld, says he is isolated at a hospital in Nebraska after he volunteered to take care of sick passengers. 17 other Americans are under observation. The remains of the second U.S. soldier who went missing during military exercises in Morocco has been recovered. The Army says specialist Mariah Simone Collington fell off a cliff during a recreational hike. America's listening to Fox News.
Local events, newsmakers, and information. It's Sunrise LBK on KFYO.
Coming up on Sunrise LBK on Thursday morning.
Thinking about buying a new car? Jerry Reynolds, the Car Pro, will be on the line. He'll tell us about his ride of the week.
Summertime, summertime. Hey, we got some great menu items we want to share with you. And take a look at what's happening around the Hub City the coming weekend. It's all on KFYO, the news and talk of West Texas, 95.1 FM, 790 AM.
The Ben Ferguson Show, Sunday evenings from 6 to 9, right here on KFYO.
The weather forecast for this Wednesday evening is after a day of temperatures 96 degrees. The temperatures are dropping into the middle 60s by morning, but the evening, for the most part, through midnight, still going to be a bit warm. Well, those temperatures will once again move into the middle, even the upper 90s by Thursday. The weather is brought to you by the new Sonic Refreshers. I'm meteorologist Ron Roberts on Lubbock's official weather station, News Talk KFYO.
All right, welcome back to Hour 2 of the program here on the Texas Town Square Media Network. Steve Evans hanging out with you. Ken Corbin in-house. Just having a ball. 806-680-2790. The number to text the show if you'd like to send us a message. Love to hear from you. Coming up tomorrow, we'll visit with congressional candidate in the Republican primary runoff, congressional candidate for Texas District 19, Tom Sell, in studio with us tomorrow. We have not stopped the interviews. If you're running for office and you want to come in, do an interview, would love to have you. You can reach out to me, Steve, at sevensradio.com. Get a hold of Ken Corbin. Call in to the studio during the show. Book it with Nick.
Or you can do news at KFYO.com.
News at KFYO.com. All of those ways will get to us, and we're happy to book you on the air. This is one of the reasons Ken and I are here every night with you. We want to keep the interviews, and this is as I said a week ago, this was Chad's Super Bowl, man. It's election season, a lot going on. We want to make sure that our local candidates for office and in any level of office, local, state, our national offices, our congressional offices, have an opportunity to be on the show. And early voting's coming up, man. We got an election about to happen, a runoff election, so that's heating up. So Yeah, get Steve at Sevens Radio, news at KFYO.com. You can, if you got Ken's number, give him a call, mine, Nick, any way you want to get to us. We're happy to book you. But Tom Sell on at 5:30 tomorrow, 806-680-2790. There's a movie called Mercy. This is Kendra. I believe the judge is completely AI. There's no jury. And you get 3 hours to prove your innocence or bam, you're executed. I haven't seen it yet. It's Nick. Chris Pratt is the one on trial in the movie, I believe. He's trying to prove his innocence. I haven't seen it yet. But Brandon,
that sounds interesting.
You remember Minority Report with Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise. I was about to mention that.
It's similar, but it wasn't AI yet, but it had the precogs, the three brainiacs in the pond that they kept sedated.
Well, that and the big premise of that movie.
It was what you were going to do.
What was what you were thinking and what you might do.
Right. Precognitive, pre-crime. It was off. That's right. It was the Department of Pre-Crime. What you might do.
We're not there yet, but I see that we get there.
If anybody knew the things that I've thought about doing, I'm in so much trouble. I've already be executed. I mean, I bet Steve be gone. That's probably everybody. If anybody hasn't plotted at least one murder in their mind at some point in their life.
Well, there are people that
Nick hasn't ever wanted to kill anybody. He's not. It's a very good guy.
Well, I don't know about that. If you go, if you.
I'm talking from your youth all the way up. You've never wanted just like, I could kill that person right now, and if I could get away with it, I would. You never thought that, Nick? That's good. I haven't either. But
I don't know. If somebody severely insults Nick and his sweaters, he might actually go there.
Well,
we're getting.
He wanted to cause bodily harm to Matt Crow at one time. I mean, it was the cage match that never happened. It was never going to happen. And Nick's got a band too. He's got Nick and the Blue Cardigans, the band that never was. It's got a lot of cowbell. It's a great band. It's an 80s cover band that is had a whole lot of concerts out there, local concerts. They fill arenas, but yet it never happened. It's just the band that never was. We're working on T-shirts. There's a logo, an AI generated logo at that. Nick and the Blue Cardigans.
One thing that's interesting that people might not be aware of, there is some controversy going on with AI generated music. Now, you can find these artists on Spotify, you can find them on Amazon, but almost all of the major radio stations and radio groups out there have banned the AI music. Now, some of them have AI presenters that will talk, that basically replacing the DJs, but as far as the actual music, it is actually human created. It is not AI.
If you tell AI to create something and it does it, is it human created? You give it the input, you tell it what you want, you give it all the points, then you refine it, then you have it massage it a little more, and then you keep going till you get the product that you want. Is that not being creative?
Well, that's the same argument that was going back in a lot of the DJ era when we were seeing DJs move up front as artists and doing the scratching and the mixing. Were they an artist like a band, or were they just basically mashing up someone else's music and creativity? That was an argument in the day about what constituted an artist.
And you remember all of the sampling arguments that went on.
Sure.
when it was Queen got sampled. Everybody in their world has been sampled.
You know who the most sampled artist was?
I was trying to recall. My brain just started smoking.
Up to probably just a few years ago was James Brown.
Yep.
There's a lot, almost. I don't think there's probably any rap artist of any renown that didn't use James Brown on something.
Eric says, you take Nick's 9-year-old snacks away and you'll discover a completely different Nick. And when he doesn't have a sweater on, he's almost like hangry, but it's like coldgry. I don't know, something like that. It's a temperature thing more than a stomach thing.
I'm going to tell Nick, okay? So Tom comes in my office today. Tom's
he's got stories, man.
Morning show host on KFYO here in Lubbock. So he comes in my office. He says, I can't believe that Nick puts these out. Nick Nick gets snacks at his house, and those things that he and his wife don't like, he brings up and just kind of makes it available. And we're talking like,
How does he acquire said snacks to begin with?
No, nacho Doritos.
It's
crunch.
yeah.
I say,
hang on. He's got to jump in.
Can you believe crunchy Cheetos? He doesn't like crunchy Cheetos. So Tom and I had kind of a laugh at Nick's expense today that Nick didn't even know about, but he does now.
Yeah, I do now. Hey, I appreciate it. No, what I do is because I get like the variety. I get like the variety packs of chips or snacks or whatever it is, and half the time, I mean, I have to make the decision, and I'm like, okay, I like 90% of this. So I'm like, okay, the last, the Twizzlers or the Cheetos or the whatever that I don't like, I'm like, I'll bring it to work.
I mean, what do you keep, like the Funyuns or something, and give up the
maybe I do
Cheetos, the crunchy Cheetos?
Yeah,
I mean,
no
really,
Cheetos.
Is that a trade-off?
There's a Gen X trigger out there right along these lines. If you remember Flavor Ice, and the good ones was the purple and the green and the red. And then they would put like 90% orange. And orange was horrible. And you couldn't get another box of Flavor Ice until you ate all the orange. It was awful.
So, I mean, I would be, Nick I thought for a while, he was bringing those up. Oh, that's really cool, Nick. And he goes, well, those are ones my wife and I don't like.
I've seen Nick with old school pudding cups. I mean, he's a little hat tip to Bill Cosby.
Yeah, there you go.
I've seen him with string cheese.
That's true.
And I'd be more than happy to compensate Nick. I mean, I'd be more than happy to give you a premium hand-rolled cigar, Nick.
Oh, there you go.
I thought you would sit down and smoke with Steve and I.
What if? We know that'll never happen. What if I just put out cheap? What if I put out cheap cigars?
You don't like it, or are you told you don't like it?
I'm not a. I think that's on me. I don't think that's my area of interest. Is cigars? That's just not. It's not for me. I don't know.
He's never tried it. I can tell.
That's true. I never tried it. I never wanted to. Yeah.
What were you going to say,
You can
Nick?
tell who's tried it and who hasn't by the way they talk.
By when they say they don't want it. Yeah. What was I saying?
By the way
No,
they
I was
don't
just
like it.
saying the snacks. Yeah. I bring my refuse. My the things that I is never going to get eaten. So
well,
you guys.
The office appreciates it. I just want to tell you now.
Good. Well, I'm taking tips.
Thank you.
So yeah.
But one thing about Nick is he's never hungry. He travels with snacks.
I was
and that's
just
not a bad
snacking.
thing.
I just had some granola and dried bananas. Exactly. Yeah.
So he hides. He tries to hide where we can't see him.
Exactly.
But,
or I
because
don't.
he didn't bring enough for everybody.
And it's one of those things, Nick. And I kind of get the impression Nick's a sloppy eater because when he eats his lunch, he gets up and closes his door.
I do. Well, it's also because it's nice to eat in private.
It's because he brought out the snacks he doesn't want. He didn't want you coming in there getting the good snacks.
No, of course not.
It's like you brought us orange and I'm in here with purple.
The Reese's Pieces, you guys get the hot tamales. Nobody wants those. Stuff like that. Yeah.
See, and here's the thing about Nick. Describe Nick. Nick, he's got the cardigan sweater. He's youngest, graduated Tech just a few years ago, and he's got a little bit of height to him, but he doesn't have the girth or the build that Steve and I have. Steve, Nick's
There you
pretty
go.
skinny
Well,
guy.
We all need to know our place. So
I don't appreciate you calling me out like that.
Hey, I'm included too. I mean, I'm a big boy just like you are, Steve.
I am 70-pound lighter, Steve, right now, and it's 40 more, and
I'm only 50 from where I was, but that's
40 more, and I'm making fun of you for sure. Oh my goodness, I don't know. I tell you what, my favorite snack, my weakness snack is chili cheese Fritos. You just can't beat them. I mean, and I have to stay way away. That's a weakness. And now, I mean, I'm the guy that reads the food labels. I look at all the stuff. I stay away from. I'm completely detoxed for sugar. I won't eat sugar. I'm off of it. It's poison. I'm convinced it's poison. No sugar in my diet at all. So I have to read a lot of labels because so much stuff disguises itself as sugar.
Oh, there's
I walk
100
by
different names for it.
Oh yeah,
and half of them are some variation on high fructose corn syrup.
Oh yeah, and so, but I have to walk by the chili cheese Fritos. I just don't go down the chip aisle anymore because I look at them and I just start jonesing and having withdrawals, and because I mean, not only do you take chili cheese Fritos, but then you scoop up some bean dip with them, and I mean, you hit the lottery.
Bean dip. Now,
oh yeah. I mean, it's going to hurt you, but it's so
okay,
good.
I'll tell you how I've gotten around. I made no secret about the fact that I've been a diabetic, diagnosed 20 years, and don't really do the chips as much, with a bean dip, but I will use pork rinds.
I eat pork rinds.
With that's what
you got to
use
watch those because some of those have got sugar in them too.
I'll look on it to make sure that it doesn't. But the thing is, you know what I miss the most, being after I got diagnosed with diabetic, because it was grapefruit. I miss grapefruit. I love grapefruit.
And grapefruit is one of the worst things you can eat as a diabetic.
It is for several reasons. It's got more sugar than an orange does, and
it attacks your kidneys.
There's something about that's in grapefruit that negates any positive effects you might get from various kinds of medicine, including some of the diabetic medicine.
337 says, MB, Nick doesn't particularly think intentionally inhaling smoke into his lungs is smart. It's not smart. I mean, Nick would be correct. It's not smart at all. And now we're going to a break while we relight our cigars here. 806-680-2790. If you want to be part of the show, shoot us a message. Love to hear from you. Back in a moment.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Heads up, Texas.
So you don't hit my car when I'm sitting at a stoplight.
Heads up, Texas.
So I can ride my bike safely.
Heads up, Texas.
So I can make it across the street without getting run over.
Heads up, Texas.
So I don't have to write you a ticket.
Heads up, Texas. Because driving and using your phone is a bad combination. Talk, text, crash. Brought to you by TxDOT.
Every hour of every day, Fox News Radio is there with the latest breaking news and information you rely on.
This is a Fox News Alert.
I'm Lisa Brady.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
With Fox News correspondents around the globe.
At the White House, Simon Owen in London.
On Capitol Hill, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
The news that matters most to you. The top headlines, all in one place. America is listening to Fox News Radio.
Heard right here on News Talk KFYO.
Ted Cruz here. Tune in to KFYO every Sunday at 11 for Verdict with Ted Cruz. But stick around for Reason, Religion, and Reality at noon, followed by the best of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, right here on the News and Talk of West Texas. News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO.
News Talk KFYO and the KFYO app.
Hey, welcome back. 806-680-2790. Couple of texts. Eric says, Steve, speaking of sugar, I went shopping for salt. There's sugar in salt. Read the labels. What's wrong with these companies? I don't know. I use the Celtic sea salt. There's no sugar in it. Kendra says she's got a mechanical heart valve. Can't have grapefruit because it interferes with her heart medication. So yeah, and I had a good friend of mine. We got on this. I stopped drinking because it's got sugar in it. And but I got a friend of mine. We got on this kick. We were drinking salty dogs a whole lot. Like almost every night, making some salty dogs. Well, he's a hardcore diabetic and was having issues. Went to get a checkup, and the doctor's like, "You can't drink the grapefruit juice in that. You can't have that. It's destroying your kidneys." And so he had to stop. But a Gen X trigger. Do you remember swatches?
I never owned one, but yes.
It's so there's two things about Swatch Watch, A, and B, we used to buy these things at Dunlap's. Dunlap's that hasn't existed for years, but that used to be like Dillard's for poor people. They had some clothing, and they had Anthony's too, but they had some clothing, they had, they were a fairly not as high end as what we thought Dillard's was when we were growing. We were poor growing up, but we would go shopping at Dunlap's. You could get some off the rack suits there, shoes. I mean, it was a decent department store, and they had swatches, and we'd go buy swatches. It was a big deal. You'd wear 2 or 3 of these. It was it was back when the breakdancing thing and all the colorful 80s was happening. You'd have 2 on one arm, 2 or 3 on another, and they had they were graded like 1A swatch, 3A swatch. And I thought this stuff was gone. There's still swatch stores. I didn't know this. And I picked up this story today out of the Chronicle. It says a line has formed for a limited edition collection of pocket watches expected to go on sale at the Galleria Swatch store. I didn't know there was still swatch stores. People lose their mind over stuff. It's
Galleria Dallas or Houston?
This is the Galleria Houston. And people lose it. It's like the sneakerheads, that lose their mind over like the new latest and greatest sneaker collection or limited edition Nikes or, the Air Jordan. I mean, I never got into the sneaker thing.
Didn't either.
But there's lawn chairs lined on the sidewalk of Hidalgo Street outside the Galleria yesterday, 4 days before the much anticipated collaboration with watchmaker, I'm going to mess this name up, Audemars Piguet something Frenchy, sent to launch. The Swatch store in the Galleria is one of 21 stores in the U.S. that'll carry the Royal Pop collection, scheduled to drop on Saturday. They're already lining up for this thing. Galleria opens at 10, and so limited edition, $400 for this limited edition watch that they're going to sell. And I've seen a picture of it. It's just really horrendous. I wouldn't buy it. It's an octagonal pocket watch in 8 colors. I mean, there's pink and green and, the colors. If you remember the swatches, anybody out there remember the swatches? Fusion of the Royal Oak line of this French watch, luxury, or maybe it's Swiss, I don't know, line, usually priced at more than $20,000, and a swatch, a relic from the 80s, and people are losing their minds over this. And these are the same people. Here's where I'm going with this. These are the same people lined up to pay $400 for this thing that will complain that gas is $4 a gallon.
If you really sit down, especially unless you're in one of the big cities and you're driving, 50, 60 miles round trip to get to work, has it really affected you in places like Lubbock or Amarillo, Abilene, Wichita Falls? Are you really spending that much more on gas? I don't know. I mean, you look how many gallons a month you buy, and it's what? 75 cents maybe? The most, for most people, it's what? $20 a month more? But the thing is, you complain about that.
You're talking about them paying $20 a month more for fuel?
Yes.
It's so much more. I mean, we've gone up.
It depends.
We've gone up. I mean, I'm paying a lot more, and I don't leave Lubbock most of the time. My commute in the morning's 10 minutes, but if you ride around town, you got things to do, and you drive a pickup, and I'm going to drive the big car and just pay the price, and I don't care about your Prius. I'm sorry. Don't tell me how I'm going to save money on fuel if I just drove this. I'm going to pay the price for the big vehicle. Sorry, I like it. But when you go from $2 to $4, that's a big dent. And gas should be $2 a gallon.
It should be, but the question is, compared to a $400 watch, it's not very substantial. It's minimal, but you look at some of the prices on, the way eggs have come down, the way milk prices have come down. A lot of the grocery prices, with the exception of beef, are either stable or less than what they were before, because of Trump.
You're saying that the fuel prices are Trump's fault?
Well, it's. I think part of it could be blamed on Trump or
806-680-279 if you'd like to blow Ken up.
but it's true. I'm not saying that the end result is going to end up being better for us, because if we can get it a nuclear-free Iran, it could be a price worth paying.
We do need to talk about this, because there's reasons that this is happening, and as one of the only people in this room that's actually been in the Straits of Hormuz, I've seen it, and I can tell you why. But we do need to take a quick break. We need news and weather. We're going to take a quick check of news and weather. Take the break. Be back in a few minutes right here on the show, 806-680-2790. Back in a moment.
On air and online, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Sound off during the show by sending a text at 806-680-2790.
When I'm driving, I look twice for motorcycles.
I look twice because motorcycles are easy to miss.
I look twice just in case a motorcycle's in my blind spot.
I look twice at intersections and before I turn left.
I look twice because I want to know for sure.
I look twice for motorcycles because I don't want to hurt anyone.
Look twice for motorcycles. There's a life riding on it. A message from Texas Department of Transportation.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
TSN headlines: a federal judge will have to decide whether a new Texas law is giving the state more immigration power than any other and whether it's constitutional. The Texas immigration law would let police arrest migrants suspected of illegally crossing into Texas and state judges the ability to deport them. It's set to take effect on Friday. U.S. District Judge David Ezra expected to block the law. He issued an injunction against it in 2024. Governor Abbott expanding his crime reduction effort in Houston to Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio, and Austin. In October, he first rolled out the Texas Repeat Offender Task Force, a joint effort between federal, state, and local law enforcement. For the first time in Texas, the county decides to put a delay on any new data centers. Hill County commissioners voted to stop the expansion of the centers for at least a year. Newly released government records indicate a possible UFO sighting in Abilene nearly 80 years ago. With your Texas news headlines, I'm Barbara Schwartz.
As your one local trusted partner for nearly a century, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas ensures the widest access to the best affordable care, where you need it, when you need it. Blue Cross and Blue Shield, offering a constellation of healthcare services where you're always the stars.
Digging without contacting Texas 811 first could cost more than you think. Texas 811 is a free service that helps you avoid damaging underground utilities like electric or gas lines. Every year, accidents happen because someone didn't take a moment to contact 811. Whether installing a fence or working on a construction site, contacting Texas 811 is the law. It's quick, free, and keeps you safe. Visit texas811.org today for more information. Safe digging starts with one simple step. Make it today.
The rental team at ASCO is ready to help you find the right equipment to do the job. Choose from daily, weekly, or long-term rental options to fit your project's needs. Buy it, rent it, support it. We're on it at ASCO Equipment. Visit ASCOEQ.com for your next equipment rental.
The weather forecast for this Wednesday evening is after a day of temperatures 96 degrees. The temperatures are dropping into the middle 60s by morning, but the evening, for the most part, through midnight, still going to be a bit warm. Those temperatures will once again move into the middle, even the upper 90s by Thursday. The weather is brought to you by the new Sonic Refreshers. I'm meteorologist Ron Robertson, Lubbock's official weather station, News Talk KFYO.
Has anybody told you about Coast to Coast AM tonight?
Coast to Coast is one of those programs that deals with strange mysteries. We'll look at Bigfoot. We'll look at UFOs. We'll look at real science. And we'll also look at conspiracies and what it all means to you, the listeners of Coast to Coast AM.
It's the best in overnight talk radio. Coast to Coast AM.
Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Tonight at midnight on KFYO.
This is House Call for Health. 8,500 steps a day could help prevent regaining weight following a period of dieting. Researchers looked at data from nearly 4,000 people who took part in multiple trials focused on weight loss and maintenance. People who increased their steps to that magic 8,500 steps a day during their weight loss phase and kept up the steps afterwards had a higher success rate of keeping the weight off in the long term. These participants lost around 9 pounds on average over an 8-month period and maintained most of that weight loss in the next 10 months. On the other hand, the control groups did not receive any treatment and were dieting on their own, averaging around 7,200 steps a day. They did not drop any pounds. The findings are scheduled to be presented at the European Congress on Obesity in Istanbul this week, and they appear in the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
The news and talk of West Texas. News Talk 95.1 and 790 KFYO.
Welcome back, 806-680-2790. If you'd like to send a message to the show, a couple of texts rolling in. One of them says, my husband has stopped driving his big dually truck because diesel is so high. Oh,
Diesel's a different story.
Yeah, diesel.
Because the thing is about what was the price under Biden, when he took office after Trump, it was roughly $2.46 a gallon. And then by June of 2022, the average across the country was hovering around $5.
And Kendra says he just takes his gas truck to work. Good move. Let's see.
So the thing is, we are somewhat, even after all of the disruption in the oil market, it's still a little better what it was under Biden, but it's going to come back down because it has come back down, under Trump.
It has, but hold that thought. Eric says, this mean Tickle Me Elmo, the Teletubbies, and Cabbage Patch Kids are back. You remember My Buddy? My Buddy might come back. He also says America needs to get the world market pricing. Get off the world market pricing since we're providing our own oil. Go to UAE, Saudi, Kuwait. They are paying a nickel per gallon. They can take care of their own and make everyone else pay full fare.
But that's
Why can't we do
totally
that?
Subsidized.
It is subsidized, but that's not the problem. So we had a couple of big things happen. Number one, we removed Machado from Venezuela. We claimed the heavy crude. And we have refineries, and some of the refineries in the Gulf are very specifically built to refine heavy crude. We can take it. And so now we have heavy crude coming in that we're refining into gasoline. We've got plenty of oil right now to make our own gasoline, and that's the question. Why is our gas so high? Well, it's so high because, and to Eric's point, you are right, we trade our oil also on the global market, which drives price. There is not a single person out there in the oil business that's going to say, well, oil's $100 a barrel, but I'm not going to sell it for that. I'm going to sell it for $65 a barrel and keep the gas low. They're not going to do that. Now, oil producers don't want $100 a barrel oil either because it stings at the pump too much. It causes too much problems. And then we start looking at legislation and regulation and things against them. They want it to stay at a good level where they can make money, they can drill, it doesn't sting too much at the pump, but they're also going to trade it at the global market, and the shortage drives the price up. And the reason we have a shortage is because the Straits of Hormuz is closed. Iran cannot export its oil. Russia's a large purchaser of it. China's a large purchaser of Iranian oil, and those markets are getting crunched, so they're importing other oil off of the OPEC market and off of the global market. You're starting to see other countries are exporting to those countries where they can get it shipped, and that's driving the global price of oil up. And so when we hit $100 a barrel, it stings at the pump. Now, all of this is not it's a direct result of action that Donald Trump has taken, and it's just an unfortunate fallout that I hope is resolved very soon. But we still have to go back to the core of the problem is Iran cannot have a nuclear program. They can't. No. They're a radical country. They believe in death to America. They will completely destabilize the Middle East. The Persian Gulf will be destabilized. We can't have that. And the problem and the thing that I keep harping on that I fear is that we have to go into Iran and we have to have a total 100% solution. And the thing that I admire Trump for, he's not caving. Yeah, it's stinging at the pump and people are getting upset, but he cannot cave. And he continually says our negotiations are deteriorating. They will not accept a deal that impacts the nuclear impact to Iran that we want, and that is disarming them. They have to give up their nuclear program and subject themselves to inspection and all of those things. The other problem I see is if we go in and just take care of the problem, let's say we go in and wipe out Iran, which is one option, what happens after that? Every time we go in and we change and we take over a country or we remove the oppressive regime, the vacuum occurs. And then we see it filled with radicalism. We see it filled with ISIS, ISIL. Well, look what happened in Afghanistan. Afghanistan was just, it's almost like we were never there, or it's almost like we just went and made it worse. The vacuum that happened, and then Sharia law comes back in. And Iran used to be a wonderful country. We were building ships. I sailed on a destroyer that was built for the Shah of Iran. It had an Iranian name already. And when you sail through the Straits of Hormuz and come over the radios, the Straits Watch in the Gulf of Oman would call us by our Iranian name. I mean, they remember. And then Iran, the Shah fell, and we kept the ships for ourselves, and that started the long tension between Iran and everybody. They breed terrorism. Hezbollah's prevalent, and that's the thing that I worry about. We had, you hear people say we've got to wipe out Hezbollah, we've got to wipe out, and that's what Netanyahu's saying. But if we destabilize that country, who's going to take over?
Well, same thing.
That's what's going to happen.
Same thing happens if they take out Hezbollah. Who's going to fill the vacuum there in Lebanon? Because most of the Christians are gone. It used to be a very mixed religious country, and Beirut was the Paris of the Middle East at one time. It sure isn't anymore. Well, maybe the way Paris is going now with all the immigration, it could be. But
Beirut used to have amazing culture. Food was a destination stop.
The nightlife and the
Iran,
beaches and the whole
Tehran used to be an interesting place to visit. Back when, there's plenty of people that took trips to Tehran back in the 70s and before the Shah fell and it all destabilized. But we have to have a total solution. If we don't, it's going to get worse. And to say, I don't like the gas prices either. I think something needs to be done. And we talked about Trump wanting to suspend the federal tax on fuel, which is 18 to 24 cents a gallon. That's not going to make that big of an impact. It's still going to hurt. But we're just going to have to take it for a little bit and pray that a solution happens, that he figures out, I don't know how long it seems to me like my patience would have been gone already. Marco Rubio's saying we're not reaching a deal. It's not satisfactory. Trump is saying it's deteriorating. They're having a back channel through Pakistan. They don't even have a direct line of communication. There's concerns that all the leadership in Iran's going to flee to Russia or other places, and it's going to destabilize. And I just don't see a clear plan. And that's what bothers me is military action is one thing, but there has to be a quick end to it. I'm not in support of long wars that have Afghanistan was a failure in my opinion. Absolute failure, and we left.
Failure on many levels. First of
all,
all,
and we don't need that again. We went into Venezuela. We took one swipe. We took Machado out. That we're buying oil from that country. That there is going to be a restructuring and rebuilding. They weren't radical Islamics, harboring terrorists in Venezuela, but
just cartel ran.
They were cartel ran, and China had a foothold in there that could have very well put nuclear weapons right off the coast of Florida. That's the problem with. So we went in, quickly took care of that problem. Iran's a different story. Nuclear facilities, things are underground, bunkers are underground. It's much, much harder to fight that kind of conflict in the desert than it is in South America.
And the radicalism in Iran has been there in charge for nearly 50 years now. And so they've had plenty of time to build up. When we found out by some of the missiles that they fired that they own missiles that could reach most of Asia, almost all of Europe, and we don't know that they're hiding something else that couldn't reach one of the coasts.
They were hiding things in Afghanistan. They were hiding things. Bin Laden was hiding in a bunker. There's, they're masters at it.
The big fears in 2 years we end up with somebody like Obama, are they going to go give him another billions of dollars and fly a plane?
And say, I'm sorry.
You say, I'm sorry. Send them billions of dollars in cash.
Big green care package. I'm sorry we were so mean to you. Final break. Back to wrap up the evening when we come back. 806-680-2790. Back in a minute.
When you see a car that's been in a bad crash, it's no accident. When it backs traffic up for miles, no accident. And if there's a fatality involved, somebody died. That's no accident either. A lot of the time, it was speeding. And it's no accident that speeding is a factor in more than 150,000 crashes every year in Texas, many of them fatal. So slow down, be safe, drive smart. A message from TxDOT.
The more you listen to your kids, the closer you'll be. So we asked kids, what do you want your parents to hear?
I feel sometimes that I'm not listened to. I would just want you to listen to me more often and evaluate situations with me and lead me towards success.
Listening is a form of love. Find resources to help you support your kids and their emotional well-being at soundidouttogether.org. That's soundidouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal.
The Mark Levin Show, weeknights 7 to 10 on KFYO.
Final segment of the evening, 806-680-2790.
There you go, Nick. That's a good one. That was the problem with about 3 albums at the same time when I was a kid. This T-Rex Electric Warrior that Bang a Gong was on was one of them.
You just stole my whole intro.
I'm sorry.
You stole it. All my thunder. I was like, but that is a good tune. I like it.
That whole album is incredible.
Eric quickly weighs in. This is the last text we're taking from you tonight, Eric. You've dominated the text line.
Yeah, Kendra was yesterday and Eric's today.
Kendra's been pretty active today, too. So Eric says, Obama is in Austin chilling for Tallarico today. Things must be bad for the Democrats. Democrats are crying foul. Louisiana's redrawing their district maps. They're squealing like pigs. There's an Alabama story. I'm not going to get to all of it, but very good day for the Republicans. Supreme Court is giving Alabama the go-ahead to use their map. That'll remove a Democrat incumbent from the state. But I want to get back to this Obama in Austin thing. Things are not bad. The reason that he is here.
They smell blood.
If you have not been listening to me, hear me. They want the Senate. That is what they're after. They are looking for the places where they can have the most effect. And Tallarico, you can say what you want about him. Boy, I can, because he's a dumpster fire. However, he is polling very well against Ken Paxton. They're polling in the margin of error, 2.5%, a tight margin of error on most of the polls, and they're seeing that, and they are going to throw the money in the battlegrounds where they think they might have a chance. And this is the danger. They are likely to dump a grotesque amount of money, could be $500 million.
It will be presidential level money.
Oh, absolutely. And it is going to decimate the down ballot. This is the problem. And I'm going to keep saying this like a broken record every chance I get. If we don't turn out in November, Tallarico's got a chance, and they know it. And that's why Obama is there. They are raising money. And, of course, in Austin, who cares? That is a blue town anyway. I mean, Tallarico is going to carry Austin proper. He's going to carry Travis County. He's going to carry Harris County, a good part of Harris County. Williamson County was
his home base.
But we will lose areas where Trump did well if we don't turn out. See, I'm filling my pool with their liberal tears. Well, I mean, I tell you, it is very serious. And yeah, we can say he won't beat Paxton or he won't beat Cornyn. He can't beat Cornyn. He's not polling very well against Cornyn. So whoever, I believe Paxton's going to win that primary runoff. I think he will. But Paxton's going to have to get busy. He's having a hard time raising money. He's really going to have to get busy, but it's going to depend on turnout. But the problem is, This Senate seat is not the problem. That's not the problem. The problem is judicial seats. The problem is commissioners' courts. The problem is all the way down to the justice of the peace seats, the local level. That money has a massive impact. It will trickle down. And if we don't turn out our voters, especially in this listening area, in the 5 golden cities, the red West Texas firewall, whatever you want to call it, if you don't turn out to vote, we're in trouble because we have to generate offset votes for every Democrat vote that comes our way. And we're going to have moderate votes that we're not moderates. I think they're going to shift and they're going to pull them over to Tallarico. I don't see how we're going to be able to capture that many. Independents might vote Republican.
Just remember that Ted Cruz beat Beto O'Rourke by just a few percentage points.
180,000 votes, roughly.
And Ted Cruz is a much stronger candidate than Ken Paxton ever thought about being.
Oh, Ted Cruz was a solid candidate. Beto O'Rourke was a better Democrat than Tallarico. I mean, a Beto O'Rourke resurrection now probably might have had even a bigger impact, especially having that kind of money.
And that was Ted Cruz as the sitting senator incumbent.
Absolutely. And if you remember, some of you saw it, he did rallies all over. He did a rally up in Pampa, and I remember him getting an interview and said, what are you doing here? He said, look at the people we have rallied. He rallied. It was a big rally in Pampa. Every one of these people has to turn out to vote because if they don't, we will lose. And we generated 29,000 votes, and when it was all over, I was still Lubbock County Republican Party chair, and I got a phone call. And generally, Ted, you can call Senator Cornyn. We can get him on the phone right now. He's easy to get a hold of. Ted Cruz is a little harder to get a hold of, but I got a phone call from Ted Cruz and said, what do you need? I said, I need you to come out here and speak at a dinner. And he came out with tears in his eyes. Those of you that were there remember it. He had tears in his eyes when he said, thank you. If West Texas had not turned out, we would have lost. And he knew that, and he knew how important it was. And I'm telling you, folks, this is the listening area right here that has to turn out. We have to turn out in percentages that we're not seeing right now. We're seeing low voter turnout, dismal turnout and excitement from Republican voters right now, and we have to change that.
Depending on which list you go by, Carl Tepper and HD 84 is on their list. If it's Ken Paxton on the ballot, they're going to fund any seat where there's a Democrat challenger. They're going to fund them
absolutely, because
it
turns out votes for Tallarico. I mean, they want the Senate. They want the House too. They want to sweep it, and they want to shut Trump down. That's the goal. But they want to take the Senate, and so we see states that are redrawn maps and they're picking up seats and they might hold on to the House, and they know that. The Democrats know that already. They have the data way better than what we have. I mean, they're analyzing this thing. They want the Senate, and you're going to see a fight, and it's going to take everybody doing their part and showing up and dragging their neighbor out to vote. I'm going to keep harping on it as long as they let me stay on the radio. You're going to hear me say it all the way to November. Enjoyed being with you tonight. Always do. Steve Evans and Ken Corbin hanging out. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Tom Sell at 5:30, I believe, right here on the Texas Town Square Media Network. I hope everybody has a great day. Pray for rain. We'll see you tomorrow.
Take care.
The preceding program was a presentation of the Texas Town Square Media Network. The views and opinions expressed during the show are not necessarily the views of this station, staff, management, advertisers, or Town Square Media.